So we're here with Rahil Maredia to chat about his business, to hear from him and what he's got going on. So Rahil, why don't you just give us a little bit of an intro about yourself, how long you've been in the business, current production.
So, thanks a lot for having me, Anna and Mike. I am a fellow real estate agent who's going to be joining KW Legacies. To start about myself, I actually should start from when I got to Canada. I got to Canada in November of 2018 as a new immigrant. I had my own business back home in Mumbai. And when I came, I was like, after being my own boss for 5 years, I cannot possibly go back to the corporate world. So what should I do? And then I saw a few people doing really good at real estate in my circle. And I was like, this sounds interesting. Unlike India, where agents don't make even 1%. Like they make 1%, but not always. And it's a very unorganized business. It is not structured. There's no license. You can basically wake up one day and, call yourself an agent, right? So this was very different. And I was like, okay, let's just get my hands onto it. Took me about 7-8 months to get my license. In that period of time, all I was doing was studying the real estate market in mainly southwestern Ontario. So I basically wouldn't work. I would study for getting the license, and I would visit properties all the way till Windsor. So I've been to London, I've been to Hamilton, I've been to Ingersoll, Waterloo, Kitchener, Cambridge, Ottawa, Kingston, just seeing multifamily units and studying and watching YouTube videos and learning as to, how exactly are people investing in real estate and really killing it. And I was like, if I can get my license and if I can be an investor, and that is why I have a tagline that I am a realtor by profession, but I'm an investor by passion, because I do my own investments on the side as well, and I help people grow their investment portfolio. And that is how. And then I think in August of 2019 I got my license. September of 2019 I did my first deal, and till date I've done a little around $250,000 in gross sales.
Amazing.
In a little over a year. And I basically specialize in condo investments in Toronto. Okay. And, I have my own systems where I have clients currently from who've purchased their investment properties through me. Houston in the US, Calgary, Regina, Winnipeg, Toronto, obviously. Basically, yeah, I've been like, with the help of referrals, I've been all over the place. And with these out of province and out of country clients, what we do is we also provide property management services, where we help them. If there's anything wrong with the unit, because it's my area, because I basically work in this little community of Flemington Park and Don Mills. Okay, so it's less than a 5 kilometer radius where I work. So I have my own teams of handymans, property managers, cleaners. Anything that goes wrong with your property, you don't have to be here. You just have to call, right? So I have these clients who then refer me to their friends, where they can basically own a property without any hassle. I help them right from getting on board to doing their financing, to having a team of lawyers, to having a team of every possible person you can imagine to help them succeed. And that is exactly how I've grown my business, purely through referrals.
That's amazing, Rahil. Now, for you, what is it that drove you towards real estate? Like, what is it that really enticed you from the beginning?
My father is a real estate developer back home in Mumbai. So he's built over 25 million square feet of real estate. It's not that I was introduced and I was new to the business. It's just been a family business for over 3 decades, 4 decades now. So I knew a thing or two about real estate, I'll be honest. And then I've seen my father grow and, really, really make money in real estate. So that was one thing that attracted me. And then the other incentive was, hey, how do I keep my bread and butter going while investing, right? Because you've just immigrated, you don't have any credit. I still cannot get a loan, just so you guys know, because I've not been in the country for 2 years, right? So there are so many challenges. How do you come across those? there's always opportunities in real estate, which is what makes me go gaga over it, right? You can find investors, you can do joint ventures, you can just get in touch with people, you can wholesale. I didn't know what wholesaling was until I got to Canada, right? So it was a field where you can there is no limit to how much you can grow, and that is the reason why I got attracted to real estate and started my career in this vertical.
In this crazy, crazy world.
That is insane. That is such a short rise. You keep this pace, you're going to be a billionaire in a few years.
I hope so. I hope I do.
So you mentioned you had a business when you lived in Mumbai. Sounded like you were somewhat established over there. What was it that brought you to Canada? Why did you decide to move over here?
Quality of life.
Yeah.
There's no reason, right? There's quality of life. We did have a business. I did found my own dairy manufacturing company with my brother, and we did distribute traditional Indian dairy products, like packaged dairy products, like lassi and all those drinks, across 2,000 odd stores in Mumbai and Pune. Uh, I did that for 5 years now. My wife is a software developer, and all her family was here. In 2017, I visited, my family in the US, and I saw my cousin, and the amount of work that they had to do to earn that money, and the amount of work that I had to do back in Mumbai to earn that kind of money, not even close to that kind of money, was like, wow, North America is the place. And it's not easy to do business in Mumbai. It's just another financial capital hub for India, just like Toronto, where the rents are high. You have to deal with a lot of costs, and you're doing business for the first time. And then after, I was lucky to have a buyer after 5 years, and at the same time, me and my wife just applied to get a permanent residency card, based on her career and her field of software development, and we got it. That was the reason. The worst case I thought was, let me just come check it out for 6 months, have a nice holiday. I've just sold my company. Worst case, I go back, right?
Yeah.
Then after a month of landing, I'm like, dude, I need to do something. I'm home, right? So then, the mindset changed, and then YouTube videos helped me a lot to see how people are growing their portfolios. The first thing you start with of what your family has done and made money into, and that was real estate for me. So that's how I started, and then one thing led to another, and I think I've been lucky too, along with the hard work that I put in, but I think I've been lucky as well to be where I'm at.
Now for you, Rahil, you mentioned you mainly work off of referrals, right? Now, you also mentioned that you're dealing pretty much with international clients all across Canada, the US now, and maybe further and beyond.
Yes.
How did you get started? Like, what was your first lead generation as you got your license? How are you looking for your clients? And now what does that look like now?
So for me now, I know for a lot of people, it's different communities where you thrive in, and that's where you start your referrals, right? So for most of us, it's family and friends, just like that. I'm no different. I had family and friends, and then we belong to a small community of Aga Khani Muslims, and we go and attend the mosque every day, right? That became the main playground for me, where I helped someone buy a condo. So my first deal, uh, I believe that I am aggressive, and I've been told by people that I'm aggressive when it comes to real estate, being an agent. And my first deal is the best example for that. Uh, Basically, we had a 3-bed, 2-bath in our area that was an estate property. After watching a YouTube video, I knew that estate properties and power of sales are like really juicy deals. But, I basically saw the listing at 8 a.m. I called the agent at 8:30 a.m. My buyer was like, I'm at work, I cannot come. I'm like, make your dad come. If you want a deal, you got to do this, right? I made his dad come to visit the property at 9:45 a.m. and I locked the deal at 10:30 a.m. Okay. And that deal basically spread the word that, whoa, who's this new kid on the block, right? When you go to the mosque, people meet each other. Hey, you bought a home. Who did you buy it? Oh, I bought a 3-bed for $420,000. Whoa, that's it? Who did you buy it from? And blah, blah, blah. And then, that's how you grow. And, that person bought it. And the same client that I have right now, their family has purchased nearly 4 condos through me.
Oh, wow.
brother-in-law, his sister's husband, then the husband's brother, then the husband's brother's wife. Like, I don't even keep account of that. They're like a family. They're my golden family. I do anything and everything for them. So it was all about putting in that effort. If I wouldn't have, woken up and, if I didn't go to the property, because if it's an estate property, I knew it was vacant. So I got the appointment right in and getting in there. And then after that, the agent called me and he was like, I sold it for cheap. I sold it for real cheap. I'm like, sir, this is my first deal. You're godsend. He's like, is this your first deal and you're this aggressive? My friend, you're going to go a long way. So, and he was right. I mean, I've come a long way after that. And trust me, every time I've done that, I've just kept that thing very simple, that if you really want to find a deal for your clients, you got to be aggressive. We all look out for our clients, but do we actually go that extra mile and make sure that, and the person who bought it, believe it or not, he saw the unit in the conditional period. He didn't even see it before buying it. Trusting a one-time agent, like a first-time agent who's basically never sold real estate, that person trusted me and my instinct that the price was great. We started out and then we locked it in, and that was perfect. And since then, I've just been very aggressive for my clients. I'll make sure that I just recently, I bought a condo for myself last week. I think, Anna, I told you while we were chatting that, hey, I bought a condo. Same exact story. Listed at 7 a.m. I go in at 9 a.m. I lock the deal in at 11 a.m. I finish the deposit by 4 p.m.
That's
right?
awesome.
And another strategy that works for me is figuring out where the agent is from. So this time the agent was from Brampton, the property that I bought for myself. Now that tells me that if a person is selling real estate in North York and near Don Mills and Eglinton, and if they're coming in Brampton, they don't know exactly how strong or how the market works, right? That is why we always tell people that, hire agents that are in your locality, who know your area in and out. Now, this agent was in Brampton. She didn't know how many vultures sit in my market behind 3 beds. I bought the exact same, like 3 beds in my area. Pre-pandemic, we're selling for 560, 570. Well renovated, decently renovated, 530, 540. I locked this deal in at 480.
Oh, wow.
Because I knew the agent was from Brampton. Give her a clean offer, give her what she needs, give her the closing date that she wants, and she's just going to get this out of her way.
Mm-hmm.
And it turns out, I'm pretty sure they're family friends. She doesn't even work in this area. She works in Brampton. So it was a win-win, right? She also told me that, you got really lucky. I got like 15 calls after that. I'm like, yeah, you're kidding me. I know. Came in at 9 a.m., right? So this is the same thing that I do for myself. This is the same thing that I do for my clients, and that is the reason why people trust me. And trust is what gives you referrals, and referrals is what gives us business. And I also do give fancy referral gifts.
Yeah.
Help me write off some expenses, right? So why not?
So what does that look like? So you mentioned your golden family. You sold one of the condo. Do you train them to?
I do.
Referrals for you, or?
So let's say if you're a client sitting in Calgary, you've never even visited Toronto. I just did a deal for a client sitting in Regina. The kid's never been to Toronto. He doesn't know what the condo market looks like, but his brother-in-law bought a condo through me, right? So he called me and he's like, Rahil, I'm looking to invest. I have these many funds. How do we get started? Right from getting the client on board to training him, I have a simple metrics, simple Excel that I keep, that if you buy it at this point, your down payment is going to be this much. You need this much for closing costs. This is going to be your holding cost. Your mortgage is going to be this much. Now, a mortgage has principal and interest, which a lot of people, consider mortgage as an expense, but we need to make them realize that mortgage has 2 branches. One is the principal, one is the interest. So the month-on-month equity that they think is much more than, what they're considering. So having the mortgage cost, property taxes, and insurance, that gives you your total cost. If you pay 20% down, I can guarantee you a minimum rent of this much. Because I work in the area, I'll give them $100 less than what the market rent is, and I'll get it rented. That gives them that, okay, this is my holding cost. This is going to be the rent that I get. This is going to be the difference, plus or minus, whatever it is. We try and, keep it to a point where they break even. Now that once that part is over, once I connect them, if they have their own mortgage guy, a lot of them do, that's fine. If they don't, then I connect them to my mortgage guy. We do not basically start viewings until I get to a certain stage. Now that certain stage involves this process of making them understand numbers, making them understand what the market is, making them understand what the market was, making them understand what the market will be to the best of our knowledge, and also where do their financing stands, right? Because a lot of time clients think that, for example, that I basically am working full time. Turns out you're a contractor. The bank needs 2 years of income. Boom, you cannot borrow. What do we do then? So I had a lot of speed bumps while dealing with a lot of such clients. So I decided to change my system. I get them connected to a mortgage broker, or I get them a pre-approval. However, whatever works. Once we're done with the financing, okay, so once we have the financing, once we know what the down payment they can afford, we will keep a cap. I am not going to look for a property more than 500K for you. Their borrowing capacity might be 550, doesn't matter. But if the client is comfortable at 500, we keep it at 500. Then I start viewing properties for them. Now, viewing properties is also pretty simple. I go in, like I said, if it's listed, we go in the same day. We'll take a video, we'll do a walkthrough video. I'll give them a call. I'm like, okay, this is what I think. These are the things that might need work in the future. If it's perfect, it's perfect. But if it's not, I let them know that very moment. They shouldn't get surprised if I have to get my handyman in there and there's some work that needs to be done for $400. They'll be like, oh, what did you check? Remember, I am the eyes, I am the physical body who's checking out properties for them. That comes in with a lot of responsibility, right? So I will check the plumbing, I will check the flooring, I will check the ceiling. My condos in my area are mid 70s, 80s, and newer ones, but mainly I deal with condos in the 450, 500K range. So I have a lot of responsibility in terms of things that I need to check so that they are not bombarded with a huge cost later down in the future. That basically, goes against me, right? So, and even if there is something, I'm going to go ahead and be very clear and honest with them that, hey, there's some sort of a water leakage that I see in the bathroom. We can get it fixed. I can have my handyman in there, but if not now, in the future, it might. I don't know if it will. The kitchen is losing its touch. The cabinets are loose. Remember, the person is not in there. So we're doing everything for them again. The plumbing looks good. The layout is decent. We can remove the drywall, add something new if there are renos involved. We do pretty much everything. So having real estate knowledge is key when you're dealing with out of province clients. Having those systems in place helps me do the whole walkthrough video with them. Once they approve of the place, we go ahead, we put in an offer. And once we get the place in there, we will try and take a closing of about 4 to 5 weeks from the date, mainly because I'll have basically get the unit rented before it's even closed. Right? That's the goal. So on the closing day, I have my lawyer in Toronto who coordinates with another guy, wherever they are from, gets the signatures done. They don't even have to visit the place. I go pick up the units from the lawyer. I get my cleaning lady in there, get it clean. If it's already rented, hand it over to the tenants, and we're done with it. So there is a system in place. It sounds like overwhelming for a one-man army like me, but once it starts, it happens. It happens.
You've only been in this for a year. You have to be.
Yes.
That's like superhuman to set all of that up in a year. I have a question for you. So you're buying these places without your clients actually seeing them. I've totally done that before.
Yeah.
But I've never bought a place firm without a client first seeing it in advance. You mean to tell me these people are out of the province, they never see the house, waive their conditions without seeing it?
They might have, like a lot of them do have families in Toronto, in our area, because remember, we're all from that same community. So you'll have a cousin here, you'll have your brother here, or you'll have your friend here. So what I do is I tell them that, I am a human being. I have two eyes. If you have someone who you trust and who you want to be open with, that you're buying an investment property, please lend me 2 eyes or 4 eyes or 6 eyes, whoever wants to come. Remember, that makes my job a little easier. Right now, when
a lot of pressure on.
Yes.
Buy a house for your client without ever seeing it. It's
exactly so much for them, and I put myself in their position. Someone is spending $100,000 cash. Remember, most of my average selling price is $450,000, $500K. With closing and everything, we're looking at $105,000, $110,000 expense, right? So, and these guys are all first-time buyers. Don't forget that. They're not seasoned investors. They have been here 10 years, 8 years, 15 years. they're putting their life savings with a man who happens to be their agent and trust him blindly. Now you imagine the kind of responsibility that I have to deal with, right?
Yeah.
It's okay, it's not that every property that I've bought has been, bullseye. No, it doesn't work like that in the real world. There are properties that need work, and that is the reason why I have my own team of handyman, of contractors, of painters, all the possible trades to get. Like, we did a property that was just recently, the guys in Regina again. I did a property for him. The tenants had moved out, but the tenants were living there for 6 years. It needed, like, there were holes in the wall, the carpet was dirty, it needed, like, repainting, everything done. I got my guy in there in a day and basically gave him $1,200 and it was done. So yes, there are things that go wrong. Now, recently, someone had a plumbing issue. Well, I live in a condo myself. So what I've done is, there's another strategy that people can use. My cleaning lady, my superintendent, they're all a part of my team. And you know where they belong? They're the same people that do the things in my condo. I just got in touch with them. You got to talk, right? So
Mhm.
my super, I spoke to him. I'm like, how long have you been managing this condo, et cetera, et cetera. Now he's been in the business for over 20 years. I'm like, boom, I found my guy.
Yeah.
The cleaning lady, I see her cleaning all the time, and like the way she cleans it, oh my gosh, she's so good. I'm like, so how long have you been doing this? Who's in your family? You get personal with them, and then they answer because they know this guy lives here, right? And then boom, do you need an extra side job? Oh yeah, hell yeah. Okay, fine, give me a number. Boom, it's done. So most of the people are in and around us. It's just that we just don't approach, and we just don't, use them for our work. But when you pay them, and if they're making a side income out of us, uh, it's a win-win for everybody, right? So that's exactly what I do. I try and find people in and around my area. If I'm living in North York, I'm not going to find a contractor who's based out of Markham. It's 20 minutes, but I won't.
Mhm.
I'll try and find someone within my 3 kilometer radius. And trust me, the painter that I have who fixes my walls, my flooring guy, anybody you say, they're all in less than a 5 kilometer radius. So if I have to send someone in at 9 p.m., they will go, because those are the sort of relationships that I maintain with those guys. And my buyer needs to sleep well at night thinking that, hey, I have Rahil in Toronto who's taking care of my property. Because he cannot fly in from Regina if there's a leak in the plumbing of a condo, right?
Mhm.
So you got to have these people, you got to have a team in order to basically serve your clients to the best of your ability. Otherwise, you're not going to get referrals. If you're not going to get referrals, I'm going to be screwed. Because I don't do much of lead generation. I actually have a meeting with Anna, who's going to teach me how to do some lead gen in the near future. But right now, it's all referrals, man. So you gotta really work hard.
Definitely. Now, I really like what you said about having a team that's going to be there for your client. That's something that we kind of do preach, like having a team. Like, for
Yes.
you, you are a solo agent. However, you've built a team up around yourself, right?
Yes, I have. Yes, and that is very important, Anna. And I think I would like to give you some credit because we're in talks. I was just recently, Mike. I was talking to Anna. We keep catching up with each other here and there. And she was like, "Hey, I have a friend. They're a virtual. They have a virtual assistant company. Reach out to them because I was just cribbing that I have so much work and I practically cannot be everywhere. Sometimes it gets to your health as well. And giving her credit, she basically introduced us over email. I'm talking to the company tomorrow. Now I'm going to hire a virtual assistant. Now I've reached that stage where I can expand my team, and that includes I have to make myself free in order to do lead generation and get more business. So
Mhm.
right now, as compared to a lot of other agents, mentors who I have in the business, I'm still not 20% of where they are. Okay. There are people who do, we all know, who do 12 deals a month, 15 deals a month, and they're super good. And that's not because they're geniuses or whatever. They're just like salespeople like us. But it's purely because they're more organized and they have their own teams that do work for them while they concentrate on their expertise, which is selling and buying real estate, right? And that is where I am kind of now suffering. And as soon as you realize a mistake, you try to fix it. And that is my plan right now. I'm doing 3 to 4 deals a month. For me, I don't plan to do 15 deals a month because I want to be a part of different businesses which I'm looking into. But for me, having 6 to 7 deals a month is important. That's my goal. And how do I reach my goal? Well, I cannot reach my goal not having by not having a team. I will be stuck. How much ever we try, how are we going to do lead generation if we're taking care of someone's plumbing, or if we're taking care of our paperwork that we need to give to the brokerage? There is no way that I'm going to be able to reach there. So coming back to the main thing, yes, having a team is very important, and I am working towards it, and I learn from people, right? So you guys are a part of McKay Realty Network, and I had a very long conversation right in the beginning when me and Anna were introduced about how a team works and the structure of a team. But you guys are just focusing on your expertise, which is selling, right? You have a transaction coordinator, you have a marketing guy, you guys have a team that is helping you grow your business. In my case, my strategy is a bit different, where I want to be a solo agent and not a part of a team. So I have to make my own team, and which is the process of which has just started. So maybe in a year or two, when we chat again, when your podcast is much 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 more bigger than what it is right now, I'll probably tell you, hey, I'm doing like 6 to 8 deals a month. That is the goal, right? So yes, I am doing well for myself, but I feel that I'm not even halfway through. There's a lot more work that needs to be done.
You're not, and like we were just saying, like you're literally a year into this. You should give yourself so much credit for what you've already built. You're 10 steps, if not a million steps ahead of any other realtor that gets into this game.
And yes, I do agree, because I've been told that by a lot of people. But then I have, like, you introduced me to Sandy McKay. The guy's been in the business for 4 years and has a team, and such wonderful people like you guys. So if I compare myself to him, then what am I? 20%, 10% of what that guy has achieved, right? Like, if you're at a certain stage, you're going to look at people who are above you. My mentor, one of my best mentors in the business is Dylan Suter, right? He keeps a track of me, so he'll keep texting me here and there as to how I'm doing and whatnot, right? Now, when I keep telling him, how much did you gross, and he will tell me, right? So when I see their numbers, I'm like, dude, there's so much more that needs to be done, right? And even for you, Mike, you might, like, we're talking for the first time, but I know about you that you're the guy who, like, does 6% deals, right?
Yeah, that's my thing. We'll talk about it sometime.
Yeah, 100%. But I will compare myself to people like you guys who are doing better than I am, and then that is what strives me to at least come closer to what people have achieved. And yes, I do give credit to myself, but I will start giving more credit once I've achieved 50% of what people have achieved, right? That would be that stage, but that'll take another 2 years.
Okay.
I think for where you are, how long you've been in the business, how long you've been in the country, you're further ahead than any of those people you just named were at this point. But I think you're on a very
that means a lot. Yeah,
not kidding.
Yeah.
I'm blown away by everything you're telling me here.
thank you so much. Thank you.
Most of us had the opportunity to grow up in this country. We know how the culture works. We know people here. You literally started from scratch.
Yeah, and like I said, in the beginning, it's not just the hard work. I have been lucky, and yes, hard work is definitely a part of the game, but yeah, luck has also played a good role in my career so far. I wouldn't say success. Success will be 2 years down the line.
So one thing I also wanted to touch on, you work mainly with buyers. That's kind of your expertise. That's the niche that you've tapped into.
Yes.
Now, on the opposite end, Mike here works with listings.
I know. Yes.
Why don't we talk a little bit about whoever's listening, like if you're just getting into the business or you've been in the business for a while, why don't we talk about kind of the pros and cons of working with buyers and working with sellers, and some of the systems, you've already touched on them a little bit, but some more diving deep into the systems that you've built for your buyer clients.
I was really excited to talk about that, and now talking about it with Mike will be more interesting, right? Because he's North Pole, I'm South Pole. Now, I also read the book that you guys have, The Millionaire Real Estate Agent. I read the book, and having to work on listings is one of the most important pillars of our respective business. Here is my dilemma. I am not as good when it comes to convincing sellers as I am when it comes to talking to my buyers. I am just so natural. If you're my buyer, I am going to convince you. Because in all honesty, I'll be transparent, I'll be truthful, and if I know a deal, there is never a way that I cannot find a buyer. I will find a buyer. But when it comes to selling and speaking to sellers, I know it is a very important pillar of getting listings. I am an expert on the buyer, but I am getting more listings. I am working on it. I need to train myself. I am I have taken trainings online, just like how to get your full commission. I am watching a lot of YouTube videos. I do a lot of talking to the sellers these days. I've not been successful. Okay, I've not been successful, but I am positive that my business will have listings as well as buyer clients. Initially I was like, I just want to stick to buyers, but like I said, after I read the book, I thought it is important that I train myself to speak to buyers, give them the kind of talking to them. There's so much value that you can add while talking to sellers, which I've just come across, and that is purely through talking to mentors, talking to people who who do more listings than they do buying. Most of us do more buying side than we do on the listing side. But I am trying to learn. Like I said, I am not as successful, and the main reason for that is I've never had a listing. I've had one listing officially. That was a lease. So I leased it to
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Like I can tell by the way you speak, you're going to be awesome at listings. You have to script and practice. It's like,
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm trying to do. That's exactly what I'm trying to do. Having a script and talking to as many sellers as you can. And yes, I do work on the buyer side, but my goal in the next couple of years is to transition into the listing side. Okay, so I'll tell you that. And buyers are always going to be my favorite. If someone tells me that you're always going to have 25 buyers in the pipeline, I'll never list. But in the real world, we all know that you gotta have listings. For now, till now, luckily, I've been very blessed with my pipeline. We all have a pipeline, and we keep converting our pipeline, and then keep adding in the pipeline. At any given time, I'll have 18 to 25 range of my pipeline filled only with buyers. So when you're in that stage, I'm enjoying that phase, right? But I'm slowly moving towards being like Mike, getting those listings and trying to talk to people and just experimenting. Maybe after a year we talk again, and I meet you in office, and I'm like, you know what? I'm done with sellers, man. I'm just happy with my buyers. I don't know, but it would be wrong to not try my hands on getting listings.
I think if you can manage a pipeline of 18 to 20, it makes me want to jump out the window, by the way, just thinking about that, managing a pipeline of 18 to 20 buyers. But if you can do that, honestly, like listings for you, it's going to feel like you're on vacation.
Yeah. I think it's a lot. I think it's so much work. You guys take pictures, then
That's why you need the team in place, which I know, like you're in the process of setting up. There's no doubt in my mind that you can do that. Once you have the team set up, like in my world, I basically push a button, which means email someone the paperwork, and then photos are taken care of. Client is called. This happens, that happens. I don't really have to do anything until it hits the market.
Really?
Yeah.
That's how you have your system, right? See, that's what's amazing. I think I'm definitely going to get a hold of you offline, come meet you if it has to be in Hamilton, just to see how you have your system, right?
No credit. I'm a spoiled brat. Anna sets it up for me.
Oh yeah? That's
a lot
amazing.
of people here do, but she plays a big part in it. It's just simple as that. Press a button and then everything's taken care of. So my only job is to prospect for the listing.
Exactly.
Paperwork and
appointments and managing things and
negotiating. Yeah.
I think I recently saw your story or your feed where you had like people lined up outside your listing.
Yeah. Well, that's not mine. It's one of the guys on our team. But
I was like, wow, their market must be crazy that people have actually lined up outside to view a place.
Yeah, it's insane.
yeah, yesterday we had, so my group we sold 5 houses, but 3 of them, we had one that sold for 290,000 over the asking price. One sold 100 over, and the other sold 80 over. So selling 3 houses, we had like, I think 45 offers for 3 houses.
And this is in Hamilton?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Nuts.
Okay.
But that's one way I look at it. So the one that we sold for 190 over, that wasn't my listing. It was one of the guys on my team. But I've never sold one in my life that much over the asking price. And I knew we were going in with 30 offers. So I went and I had to watch.
The interesting part here is that if you're getting 30 offers, obviously even the seller knows a thing or two about real estate, but still he's willing to give you 6%.
Yeah.
There's a very, very, very important learning here for me is when the market is hot, most of my sellers are going to be like, hey, you know what, even if I don't hire you, or if I hire another agent at 1%, I'm going to sell my unit.
There are scripts for that, though.
There are scripts for that. Exactly. I have those.
You truly have to believe that, like, I'm not charging them 6% because I want more money in my pocket, although that is a nice perk of it. Even when I list my own house, I list them at 3% commission. I offer out 3%.
Yeah, that is amazing. Yeah.
You have 2 listings, one offering 2%, one offering 2.5%, and then mine offering 3%. What one do you want to sell the most, and what one are you more
it's going to be the 3% one. Yeah. No, 100%. I know that script. I know the trainings that people are taking, and that is something that I want to learn, that when your market is so hot and if you're still getting those 6% listings, that is commendable. And having a system in place where you're just doing all this with the push of a button, well, I need to learn a lot. I need to learn a lot from you guys, because my systems are not that automated.
Anna's like system master. She's
she's good.
Yeah, incredible.
As the office opens, I'll keep meeting you twice a week.
Yeah, I'm open to that.
No, but yeah, that's interesting. That's super interesting. And like I said, Anna, like you asked, getting listings is definitely on the cards. Is definitely on the cards. At least I want to try my hands and give it 100%. If that means getting, one listing a month or maybe one listing a year, so be it. But at least I'll be able to tell myself that, hey,
you tried.
I tried and I got a listing, right? And I literally took these trainings a few weeks ago. I think while we were in the pandemic, everyone was at home. Everyone was doing like trainings and whatnot. So was I. And I implemented that listing and I got a lease listing. One was pocket. Actually, I got 2 lease listings on MLS. One of them was terminated because the owner decided to keep his current tenants and whatnot. But besides the point, I was just by implementing the trainings, I was able to get 2 lease listings. Mm-hmm. It's not important that if it's lease or buying or selling, it's important that I got the listing, right? And that is something that I have to start again working on, getting those scripts ready. And that'll happen by fixing appointments and meeting more sellers. And I'll do that. It's definitely on the cards.
Well, I'm going to do a quick plug because Mike and I just recorded a bunch of videos around the listing presentation, and all of our listeners, if they subscribe to our email list, they're actually going to get a chance to watch the videos and get all the scripts. So Rahil will make sure that you get access to that as well.
Thank you so much. That is so very kind. And I'll try and use your systems, and then I'll text you if I get a listing, okay? I promise you that.
I want to bring you, next time we have one that's priced very low, I want to bring you to the offer presentation, because you look at yesterday, we had 35 people that showed up with offers. I can only imagine how many hours of work these buyer agents put into it. Say an hour to show the house, you're at 70 hours. Another hour to write up the offer, you're at 140 hours total work. And only one of them got it. But I was sitting there
like a boss,
had a big smile on my face because I knew I was getting paid. I knew there were 2 people getting paid last night.
Yeah, and one was definitely you.
That's what I like about listings.
The feeling, I always think when I'm in multiple offer situations, I rarely am. I try to scoop them in before the offer presentation date. But I have been in situations, never been much successful because my prices are lower. But I always imagine what a effing lucky guy. We're running around from pillar to post to make this deal happen. That guy is sitting like a boss telling me, hey, you want to revise your offer? No, bro, I want to slap you. Don't ask me. Right?
You're in the coolest position though, because you have all these buyers that trust you. They want to invest with you. What would happen to your business if you learned how to prospect for listings and you could just start connecting the dots? So you source the listing and move it to your buyer at a price that makes sense for everyone.
Yeah, that would be double ending like 4 times, 5 times a month, right?
There's no reason you can't do that. Like,
I can, yeah.
you can totally do that.
It's definitely easier said than done within the condo market, but nothing is impossible. You guys are more in the freehold market, I believe. Like you guys sell houses mainly, from what I see on Mike's Instagram, and even Anna does condos. I think I see her stories, but having that kind of a thing in condos is a bit difficult. Not trying to get away from the concept, but it's not impossible. It's not impossible. Convincing sellers for 6% in condos, I would like you to have, just do a listing with me. The money doesn't matter. I just see how if I have a prospect, I'm going to give you a call. I'm like, Mike, let's do it together. Just, what is it like?
Cool.
Yeah. And then
come down, you can totally come down and come on any of my appointments you want.
I will surely do that because it's important for me to learn. And then if I can get an appointment anytime in the near future, I'm going to shoot you an Instagram text. I'm going to have an appointment. Can you please come? And it's fine.
I would love to go back. I used to live Shepherd and Don Mills.
Oh,
that's close to where you are?
I'm on Don Mills and Minford.
Okay, yeah.
So literally, we're 5-7 minutes apart.
Come back to my old hood.
Your stomping ground.
Yeah.
Yeah. You should. The market is super hot around here, man. Yeah. It's good. Yeah. We there are selected agents that work in the market, and we all know each other.
Mm-hmm.
So it's always fun when the other guy has a listing. And most of the times the agent is going to be like, hey, they keep it a low price to have a bidding war. But if I know the agent and I have excellent relations with all the agents around me, I'm going to be like, buddy, what is the expectation? Don't give me shit that you want 400K for this when you're expecting like 520, 530. What is it? And then they'll give us a little scoop in here and there, and that helps, right? So you're always building relationships, and it's always fun to work in your respective hood. I'm sure you guys love it in Hamilton because I see you guys crushing it, buying properties and, listing properties all the time. It's the same around here. I bought a condo that's literally a 3-minute walk from where I am.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, we all love our respective neighborhood. I'm going to definitely give you a shout out to have a listing. And if you get it, that would be boss.
It'd be awesome.
That would give me so much confidence that I would actually work on listings, getting listings, right? Having like a 6% agent in condos. Trust me, I sell condos. I never see 3% unless it's a builder offering that, right?
Yeah.
And like 3% net of HST or whatever. Otherwise, in condos, in C11 Toronto, Flemington Park, or C13 Banbury and Don Mills, never going to see 3%.
Yeah. So let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Who's smarter when it comes to selling houses, Mike or a builder? A builder with, say, your dad back in Mumbai, millions of dollars behind him to do market research. Who's got greater access to information, and who's smarter, me or your dad? Not a trick question.
I would say both in their respective positions. It's just that if you're talking about the risk factor, then obviously the builder's taking on more risk. Mike has little downside, but a lot of more money as compared to someone who has to invest and then see the money out of it, invest more hours, invest more time, invest more money, as compared to Mike, who is basically just investing in doing the research and listing the property. So I wouldn't say just Mike. I would say both.
So I would argue it's your dad, the builder, with the millions of dollars to spend on market research. So if your dad is offering 3%, I think he's the smart man. I don't think he's just throwing an extra point or half point down the toilet for no reason. I think he's doing that because it probably works. And he's probably spent tons of money figuring out that incentivizing the agents with higher commission actually gets him more money when he sells his condos.
100%.
That's the principle behind it. If it's good enough for the builders to offer 3%, why would I not replicate that?
100%. I agree. There is no reason why.
That's part of the script right there.
Yes.
Hey,
I need to come to Hamilton. I'll drive down.
you should.
I will for sure. I'll get you to a listing that I'm almost there, and then I'll have you co-listed. We'll do the script together.
Awesome. I love it.
So Rahil, we really enjoyed having you on the show.
Thank you so much.
The last question that we ask our guests is, who do you know that we should have on the podcast?
Who do I know that you should have on the podcast? I think most of the people who I know and who've crushed it have already been there. But you know what? Let me sleep over it and I'll shoot you a text. I'll try to get someone, but I cannot. Like the few people that I know are perfect for it have already been on the show. Yeah. I am lucky to be a part of where they are, to be honest, right? But I'll have to think about it. I'll definitely have to think about it. But I will get back to you guys on that.
Awesome.
Because I know a few people in my market. Like, do you guys mind getting investors who are crushing it? You know?
No.
Right?
For sure.
Then I will definitely give you guys something.
Okay, perfect. Yep. Well, thanks, Rahil, the Buyer King. We really enjoyed having you on the show. It's been a pleasure.
Not even close to being a king, but thank you so much.
You're there. We appreciate you so much, and we'll talk to you again soon. Is there anywhere that you would want people to reach out to you if they want to touch base with you?
Oh, 100%. Why do you think we're doing this, right?
Yeah.
Some of them would be buyers. Who knows?
But where can people reach out to you on Instagram, email? What's best for you?
Instagram is perfect. Instagram is perfect. Yeah.
Awesome. We'll link your Instagram in the notes below. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much, guys.